this is my sewing vlog, The Seaside Sewist. So today's video is my June makes and a few of my favourite things. I made a few things in June. Two of the things that I made, the garments that I made, had some major sewing fails on them. Now, I'm all for sharing the fantastic parts of sewing and the wins, but I think it is also great to show the fails. So the first item I made was the chalk and notch fringe dress, which is in sizes 0 to 30 with 2 bust cup options, and it's designed for a light to medium weight woven fabric with a nice drape. Recommended fabrics are rayon, challis, rayon crepe, cotton lawn, cotton voile, cotton shirting, linen and double gauze. And it has, hope you can see that, I think I did view A with the buttons down and the turned over cuffs, and it's got like a curved hem. So as I say, this was a bit of a sewing fail for me. I made it in this fabric that I got in a Sew Hayley Jane box, which has a lovely drape. Now, I took my measurements and of what I thought. Now, it fit, as you can see in the photographs here that I'll keep putting in for you to reference back to. It fit great over the bust. I was very, very happy with that. But the bottom of the bodice, I think if I chose a size 10, I need to grade out to a 12, so I'm happy with the top part of the bodice, but the waist, I literally had to eke it over my boobs to get it on. Once it was on, it was fine, but it just needs that little bit of give there. And I'd put the waist ties on, which I obviously didn't need at that point, so I think if I go out a bit more at the waist, I can then still gather it in. So that bit was fine. A really enjoyable make, actually, really enjoyable and actually really quick. I used 3 blue buttons down the front from that I'd got in a past Sew Hayley Jane box, and a couple of little pearly buttons for the cuffs. Now, what I did with the cuffs was, I'll just get my notes. I don't know whether you can see it on here. They've actually done it like that on here. It's sort of gathered at the top, but a lot of people just leave where this lady here has got them turned over properly and then buttoned into place. Some people just pull it up, so it's sort of just a gathered. Well, I didn't like that, so what I did, and you can see in the pictures here, is I turned the cuff over to put the tab on with the button, but then I put a couple of stitches at the top and the bottom and the 2 sides to hold that cuff up, because I preferred that a lot more perfect, if that makes sense, not just gathered. So that's something that I did there. As I say, it was going absolutely fine. I tried it on and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get away with this. It was a little bit tight getting it on, but I'm going to get away with it. But it was quite long, because I think does it say on here, it's designed for, a lot of the patterns are designed for kind of 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", and I'm only 5'3.5", so I knew it was going to be too long. And I tried it on, so bear in mind it has a curved hem, so it goes up at the sides a bit, which I knew. So I ended up cutting off literally that, so that piece that I've shown you there, is what I cut off. I did try to sew it back on, actually, it just wasn't working. So I cut that much off, so I would put it back on, and it is far too short. It's okay to wear in the garden, but for me, I would have gotten away with the whole waist bit if it wasn't for how much I'd cut off the hem. So it's wearable, I can wear it in the garden. I love the pattern, I absolutely love the pattern, so I'll be making some more. But I ruined it by cutting too much off the bottom. So that was my sewing fail. So I still had some fabric left from that piece of fabric from the Sew Hayley Jane box, so I made an Ogden Cami. Now, somebody sent me this at the beginning of the pandemic, because I had loads of sort of just under a metre pieces of fabric left, and this is great for using those pieces up. Again, a bit of a sewing fail. I don't know whether I cut the straps too short, but here and the same bit at the back are pulled, like wrinkled, as if it's too tight across there. So I don't know whether just taking the straps out, making new straps so it's a bit lower would sit better, or whether I need to just revisit the pattern and recut it out. So, lovely little tip that I know you're not supposed to distribute patterns, but if you can even just share one PDF pattern with a friend, it's, you know, it helps you out. You can swap patterns that way. I just think it's a lovely thing to do. You're not selling them to people, you're just sharing them around a bit. So I think she's called Tara. I'll link her in the description box below, because she makes some fantastic things. She's actually making bridesmaid dresses for her own wedding at the minute, so you might want to go and follow her on Instagram. She's lovely, and she sent that to me. So again, another little bit of a sewing fail, which I can probably rectify. I could maybe even rectify the chalk and notch fringe dress if I maybe put something like a piece of lace around the bottom, but I know that I want to revisit that pattern again. And the last thing that I made in June finally was the basket liner for my bike, which is in this fabric that I was gifted from Minerva. So it's a cotton canvas, it's upside down, cotton canvas. It's got loads of little bikes on with a basket like my own bike, and I shared in a previous video that I wanted to make a liner to go in the basket that I could then take out, and it'd have handles on so I could take it shopping, then come back to the bike, put it back in the bike. So I'll put some pictures in here of that, and it took me a little while because I didn't use a pattern, I self-drafted it. It was too big at the start, so I then had to cut it down a bit. But if you go to the link in the description box for my Minerva blog, you can read all about that make on there. So there were my makes, some of my favourites. I'm loving my Sew Hayley Jane box again. So I've done a couple of unboxings on my vlog if you want to go and have a look at those, and there will either be or be coming in the next couple of weeks the first of a new series, Sew and Tell, what I made with my Sew Hayley Jane box. So each month I'm getting my box, unboxing it, and then when I've made things from that box, I then share a video of my makes of that box. So the two garments that were made in June in this vlog here that I'm doing were from that box, but there's a separate video for that as well. Another favourite was I went on holiday to Paris this month, and it was very hot and we walked a lot, but we had some lovely food. We had a trip to the Loire Valley. I went fabric shopping. Again, if you look back through my vlogs, I've done an actual Paris vlog and fabric haul video, so you can go and check that out. And the last thing that I'm loving is I am in a little group on Instagram with some lovely ladies. I will link the lady who runs it, called Lou, and it's like a book club, and you can join in every month if you want, or miss a few months out if you don't want to do it. But they usually choose a book every month and you purchase that book, or you may already have it, and you read it throughout the month, and then you can, they have like a little sort of Instagram conversation about it at the end of the month or during the month. They set certain dates, but they're doing a lovely, like, they do children's classics as well sometimes, and they're doing an Enid Blyton July and August sort of thing, and it's Enid Blyton, and one of my favourite books that I always remember reading as a child was The Children of Cherry Tree Farm. So I've bought that on Kindle, so I'll put an image in here, and it's just a lovely relaxing read that brings sort of back memories of reading Enid Blyton as a child. Things where they pack up the picnics and they go into the countryside and have jam sandwiches and bottles of homemade lemonade, and it's just I'm loving that. So the Kindle book that I bought has got The Children of Cherry Tree Farm, and then I think The Return to Cherry Tree Farm, and then The Children of Willow Farm. So they're all like where the children go out to the country for the summer months and what they get up to in their adventures. So it's not too late to join in. I'll leave Lou's Instagram in the description box, and you can just pop over, and I'm sure it's fine to just ask to join that. They're a lovely bunch of ladies. I already followed some of them on Instagram, but it's just lovely to, like the other night it was quite funny, there's messages all the time, and it was lovely that a few of them are reading Mallory Towers, which is a little girl who goes to a boarding school. I think I didn't read any of those, and she, as one of the ladies from that group, has started up her own sort of Instagram sideline bit where they're all chipping in to do an up-to-date version of Mallory Towers. So she started it off the other night, and it was just so funny. So it was things like, so and so has returned for the new term at Mallory Towers. Everyone's having to social distance. Her father came along, and using hand sanitizer, and sort of bringing something that was written probably in the 50s or 60s to present day and what we're going through at the minute, and it was just so funny. So people are taking turns to do like little snippets of that and sort of carry the story on. So that is really, they're just such a lovely bunch of ladies. So if you want to join in, you are more than welcome. So that is it for this vlog. Please let me know if you've made any of the items that I've shown today. Let me know some of your silly mistakes with sewing, something right at the end like my chalk and notch fringe dress where I literally ruined it in the 11th hour. Have you done anything similar? How have you rectified it, or have you repurposed that into something else? I would love to know I am going to make the chocolate notch fringe dress again, but I am so glad that I didn't make it in the fabric that I bought it in, which is, this is what I'm going to make the chocolate notch fringe dress in, and it's an Art Gallery rayon, which was really, really expensive, so I'm glad I've done a practice version on it first before I made a mistake on this one. So what my husband actually did say is, I know it's part of the make, but he didn't like the hem. He said he loved it, but he didn't like the hem. So I'm actually thinking of just doing a straight hem on it, because I don't think it really suited me. Obviously, it doesn't suit me being halfway up my thigh, as you've seen in the pictures. But I think I'd get more wear out of it if it was just a straight hem, so I might do that. So please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to see more content, more wins, more fails from me. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.